My name is Jenny DeVoe. I'm 37 years old. I have 2 children, 2.5-year-old and a 16-year-old. Going through the holiday season, my family, we all kind of passed around a bug. Saturday morning, I woke up to go to work and felt like I was going to black out.
She felt her heart was acting funny, which I didn't understand. I sat on the bed next to her and I rubbed her back, and she kept saying, "I've got to go to work. I've got to go to work. I can't miss work."
I knew it was a heart event, but I didn't want to get her overly excited. She wasn't about to go into the hospital, so I said, let's just go in and see what they think. And that's when she collapsed in my arms out in the parking lot.
I went from having what I thought was just a little illness to something that is attacking, the main muscle in my body. And it was terrifying. And I'm 36, I'm young. How does this happen to me? And how have I never heard of this before?
She had something going on that they couldn't handle, and I either needed to have her sent to Lansing or to Grand Rapids. And I said, which one's better? And he told me that Spectrum Hospital, this would be a walk in the park for them. I said, well, let's take a walk in the park then.
Jenny presented to our hospital. She went soon after to get this small pump, that's an Impella pump, to stabilize her and give us opportunity to make the diagnosis.
Next thing I know, Mary Jo was there with the Impella device, and she told me it worked just like a jet ski pump. And I was very familiar with that because we have jet skis here at the house. So let's get it done.
They were able to identify that this was a myocarditis, so inflammation of the myocardium.
We were going to meet with a heart transplant team, and it was really hard to believe it was happening to my daughter. She'd been healthy her whole life. Everything happened so fast.
I always compare it to the arcade game that's got the claw machine that, I felt like a claw came down and just plucked me out of my life, and I didn't know where I was going to end up. I remember mentioning to my sister, if something does happen, make sure my boys wind up where they need to be.
When we saw that she was in this condition, we wanted to give her what would be the best option for her to make a full recovery. For the Impella 5.0, she would be mobile, she'd be walking around the labs, and she could have this device until the heart fully recovered.
Boy, it was almost within hours. She just got her color back and her mood was better, and I could just tell it was the right thing to do.
I started feeling more like myself at that point, and I remember one of the greatest highlights of my time being there was when a woman walked in and said, "You want to go for a walk?" And I was able to, swing my legs off the hospital bed and actually stand up. It was uplifting to see nurses come out and they'd be clapping for me, and just amazed that I was cruising the halls with Impella.
It's so nice to see somebody that's otherwise that sick walking the hallways. And we know that that's going to offer a speedier non-cardiac recovery. That this is an option to recover her heart, but her body will recover more quickly if she's been walking in the halls with the device in.
The smiles and the happiness in her face and her eyes. It was almost like the next day she took a turn for the better and things started going better.
Leaving the hospital that day, that was one of the best days of my life because I got to come home to my children. I'm still with them, and I still get to hug them and run with them and pick them up and play with them and do all the things that I probably wouldn't have been able to do had I had an LVAD or a heart transplant.
This option made the difference in her life. It gave her back to her boys. It was a miracle. For several years now, we've been bowling on a team together. It's girls' night out. I was afraid that, I might have to cut that out of my life, which would have been disappointing because we all enjoy it very much. Looking back at some of the pictures I have of myself in the hospital, they're almost scary that I looked that ill and that terrible. It's a good memory to have these pictures,
to see how far I've come. Know you made it home and you're okay now, and I've healed and I've recovered.
Fortunately, the chances of a recurrence on her are very small, and she's had a full recovery. So it's it's a great story all around.
As I left ICU after having Impella removed, I had several doctors and nurses kind of giving me the applause and the high fives and the cheers. I felt like every single one of them had my back. They wanted to do their best to help me recover, get me back to my normal life. Behind every Impella, there's wonderful people, and they made it all possible for me to heal and recover and get home to my family, and I'm thankful for that.